Alright, what's up, guys? Alright, let's see if the live is working on YouTube and on X. Let's see. I see it on my profile, but I don't see it on my picture. Let me restart Twitter. There we go. Alright, now it says open live video. Twitter. There we go. Alright. I see that the audio is working on it, so it looks like it's working on my end. What's up? What's up, guys? What's up? What's up? Live over on the YouTube channel. Appreciate you. Let me get the link sent out to Discord real quick before we start. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Live now. Send it. Market is on fire. Yeah, market is doing something. So NQ opened up like down 500 points. It's recovered a little bit, but it's been flat, honestly, around like the 2100 area. It's at 21,119 right now. So, but yeah, about a 500 point drop on NQ. So that means QQQ. If you guys that don't know, it's very red right now. There's a lot of things right now that are down pretty bad. There you go. So QQQ is at 510 and SPY is at 592. So I will take that into consideration. I usually don't really care too much about what happens overnight because usually by exactly. What's up, Keith? Yeah, like the overnights, like it's nice to look at and get an idea, but it's not going to be that most of the time. It's not going to be the same when the market opens up. I mean, you got to think we have 13 hours from now. A lot of things can happen in 13 hours. So I mean, a lot of things are down pretty heavy. I mean, anywhere from 2 to 5%. Apple's down 2.5%. Amazon just hit 227, now sitting at 230, down 3.2%. Google's down 2. MU's actually down 4.5. Tesla's down 4 almost. ARM's down 5. Q's is down 2. SPY's is down 1.5. That's usually about where you see some kind of bounce start to come in when Q's get to around that 2% move. So there's a few names like I'm looking at I'm going to cover here on this where it could potentially already have hit these areas overnight, but I'm not too concerned about that. We have 13 hours from now. Things could stay relatively close to where they're at now. They could completely reverse, half the move, maybe the full move, or get even worse. Some of these names are down 2-3%. They can be down 7-8% in the morning. Who knows? Nobody knows. So no sense in worrying about that now, right? Yes, sir. Love red days for selling puts. That's right. We're going to do a lot of option selling this week. So there goes my calls. Yeah, I mean, depends on, we'll see. Like I said, 13 hours. So what's up, Keith? Appreciate you, brother. Hope you had a great weekend as well. All right. we're going to go ahead and jump into this. I got like 12 different things on my watch list. Before I start here on X, please like and retweet the stream. It is recorded. Let me go ahead and get this over here. So it's always recorded, and it will be saved on the YouTube channel, and it'll also be saved on X. So the more people that like and retweet it, the easier it is for people to find later on if they cannot attend this session here live. So if they want to watch the recording later on, maybe they're at work, whatever it is, and they want to see the topics and the stocks that I covered, makes it easier to find if more people like and retweet it. So please like and retweet it. I would greatly appreciate it. So again, I have 12 names on watch going into this week. I'm not going to cover all 12 here. That would take too long, and most of these setups I've already charted and sent out to the premium Discord. So if you guys are in the premium Discord, Keith, Liv, even Terry Two Chains, I know you're in there as well. You guys already have my charts that we're about to cover here. I'm going to pick just a handful that I've already sent out in the premium Discord and cover here. So I got a lot of names, but we're just going to cover 3 outside of the normal SPY, QQQ, IWM. I got a list of other ones that I'm watching. I'm just going to pick 3. I've watched Casey Calls a long time. He's real. Appreciate you. We had a good week, Terry. We did. We had a great week last week. So SPY currently is what, at 592 as of right now. Let's go figure out where this shit's at. So it's right around here. SPY's like right there right now. So one thing to note for SPY is that gap here on the daily, right? So you have this gap right here. So the gap is 589.2 ish to 585 exactly. So you have a daily gap to fill there on SPY. So you need to make sure you have that marked onto your chart. So if SPY loses 589.2, there is a pretty good chance it will fill the gap $4 to the downside. So for SPY to reclaim long, I mean, right up here is a pretty significant spot right here. So it would have to reclaim like right there, 601. You got this kind of midpoint, but honestly, this is probably just a lot of chop. So 2 things to watch. If SPY's at 592, I mean, if things aren't looking too hot, then when it goes down to test that gap at 589.2, if it starts to move below that, then target to the downside is going to be full gap fill at 585. SPY to the upside, I mean, 595, if you mark 595, about right here in the midpoint of this chart. But I would really like to see 597.64. I want to say I have a level at 597 point. Let me see, because I have my other chart over here, right there. Look at there it is, 597.6. Look at that, still the same thing. So 597.6 can get a move up to that 600, 601. So I would just mark those 2 levels right now. SPY's at 592, 589.2, and 597.6. You start to get some candles closing above that level or below that level, then those targets downside right here, 600, 601 to the upside, and then target downside is that gap fill to 585. So watch that on SPY. Qs, let me clear this off the chart. So I mean, QQQ had a nasty daily close. I mean, it put in the lower high. So now you have this right here, right? Where's QQQ at overnight? QQQ is around 512 right now. QQQ is right here. So it's already broken this right here, which is no bueno. I mean, to claim back upside, yeah, it's probably going to be around right here, which would be a little ways away. Your midpoint is about right here. I mean, there's no gap fill. That was well, no, there is a little gap right there, right? It's the high on that. 510.16. No, the 510.15. It filled that gap almost completely. So, so it's currently right here. If it loses 510, could see a nasty drop. You got big support kind of down here near 506, 505. That would be target downside. QQQ would have to probably just reclaim that 520 psych level area. It looks like 521 is actually pretty decent to get the move back up here to the 526.5 area. So it's currently here. I'll change this one to white. So that would be the put trigger, and then that would be target. This would be, if it starts to break back above here, then I'll take it back up here to 526. So watch 510 and 521, honestly, on QQQ for right now. IWM, a little bit different story. So, I mean, that trend line held nicely. Where's IWM at after hours? IWM, it hit 218, it's sitting at 220. So it hit 218 support, which is big right there. That's pretty easy to see. And now it's sitting at 220 psych level, right there. Yeah. If it loses 218 again, I mean 216 and then 214.5 right here. So right now overnight lows is at that 218. If it loses that, then yeah, 216, 214.5 is next. I wouldn't really be too bullish on it until it really starts to break back above 222. It's sitting at the 220 right now, so if it can reclaim and hold above 222, I think that can be pretty bullish for IWM. Going to move back up here near the 224, 225 area right there. So as of right now, I would be marking 218 and 222, and then zoom out, go to your daily and weekly. So there's that trend line that's right here, right? I mean, this trend line goes back to October of 2023. So with it going down right now to 218, right, it hit right here, and it's slowly bouncing back up, and it's sitting right here at 220. So it needs to reclaim right here. This bounce, and it needs to reclaim here. Kind of similar to how it did right here, you know, it briefly gaps down and then reclaims and comes back up very, very strong. You would want to see that again on IWM. And then when it gets above 222, then I would say you're a pretty good move potentially to 224, 225. So downside is if it continues to reject underneath this trend line, does not go to 222, and only hits this 220 and stays underneath that, then that's just going to be confirmation and then go downside. And so then if it breaks at 218 again, then those would be potential target downside, 216, 214.5. So let me screenshot those ones. Tell me a good bounce spot on Apple. honestly, we'll look at it real quick. $222, $220. But where's Apple at right now? That's what I'm going to say is $222, $220. But Apple's probably not down too bad, right? It hit 226.4. It's sitting at 230. It's sitting right here where that level that I have already on this chart. It's sitting right here. That's where Apple's currently at right now. So you do have some support right here at I have a key level here at 228.5 and then that 230 area. So it's sitting right here. So if it loses that down to 227 and then probably goes down to the zone eventually, but it's right here in the middle of this range, honestly. So think about this for a second. So it went down here. It was up here, and now it's sitting right here, right? If that sets up, bounce up here, sitting at 230, right? Sitting right there. So you have a potential head and shoulders sitting right now on Apple on the daily with this move down to 230. So not looking too hot, I would say, on Apple. You got 220 February 21 puts. Great job. Hopefully that continues to pay for you, Terry. All right, SPY, Qs, IWM. Like I said, there's a bunch. I'm only going to cover 3. Banks, BAC and JPM. So go to BAC, okay. Go to the weekly chart. Okay, you have a shooting star up here. You have a double top, first of all. You got a double top right here. Okay, you got these long upper wicks, and then this right here is obviously a shooting star. So draw this trend line here. If it breaks the trend line and this like 45.5, then it's going to go hit these targets downside. Now the question is, I guess, where is it at right now overnight? It hit 44.8 and is bouncing right now, and it's just over $45. So as of right now, it just broke this trend line. It went right above this target. It actually went to this previous week low right here. It hit right there, and it is just barely bouncing back up to $45 as of right now. So that's good for what I want. So if it continues to hold underneath $45.50 to $45, I'm looking to take Bank of America down here to 43.3 to $43. That would be my target. So it is currently underneath the trend line, which is good. It's already potentially setting up for me. Now it just needs to confirm its stay underneath that in that $45 area, and then I will take it lower to the downside. So very similar. Go to JPM, go to the daily. Okay, so you have a double top up there with a potential longer kind of shooting star looking candle, but not too hot. So I'm looking for it to be under 264.4. JPM overnight hit 260, which is right here. It hit that level and is bouncing back up right now to 262.2, which is that daily low right there. Look at that. See how these levels just play out? And see the bottom of this candle right here? The low is 262.26. JPM's at 262.22. It's 4 cents off. It's right there. So, fantastic. It is underneath the level that I'm looking for. So now, the 21 EMA on the daily is all the way down here. It's at 257. So most likely, what I'm going to take a guess is I'm going to look, because now that it's underneath here, fantastic, I want to get puts holding underneath this area here and I want to take it down to this trend line, which is probably going to line up with the daily 21 EMA, which would be target for me. That would be probably first target area, and there's also a level right here at 257. So all of that might line up like perfectly. Oh, you can draw arrows, or you can draw text on top of the arrows. That's nice. If it breaks that trend line in 257, then I'm going to target 254.4 to 254 downside right down here. So this is what I'm looking at on JPM along with BAC. Last but not least, oh, I'm actually going to do an extra one as well. This is one of my favorite ones. It's Home Depot. So Home Depot has a potential Head and Shoulders here. Oh, I didn't even notice a squeeze on the weekly. So look, this is weekly shooting star. Fan-freaking-tastic. The top of this left shoulder right here for this Head and Shoulders lines up perfectly with where that level and that shooting star retested and rejected and came back down. That looks absolutely beautiful for downside. Go to the squeeze. Oh man, squeeze just started and it's moving to the downside. That's fantastic. I didn't even notice that earlier whenever I was looking at this chart. So it's also in a squeeze to the downside. It's that little red dot on the histogram right there. That's what you want. Beautiful. So I am looking to take Home Depot down to $400 and then 380. So currently, we'll look at it overnight. It's at 405. It is just underneath the daily 9 EMA, which is fantastic. So it is currently right here. Perfect. So I would like to take it down to the 21 EMA, which is around 396, 395 area, but my full target when it breaks that is going to be 480. So I want to see if this squeeze continues and it fires it to the downside. So I really like this Head and Shoulders. And that full target looks like it's probably going to line up down here because you'll see there's pretty big demand right down here. And the 200 EMA on the daily is right there as well. So that would be target. Full target. So this is one of my favorite setups that I am watching this week. Oh, Terry just gave you guys a hint in the chat. Terry, you're giving all the secrets. I wasn't going to share that setup. Something bullish, because everything so far that I've charted is like bearish. But where is XYZ? I had a bullish setup potentially. I mean, it had to pull back first. Oh, it doesn't tell you. At least on Weeble, it doesn't have night for XYZ. You can't see it. What about Robinhood? Does it have the overnight for... Yeah, 24-hour market open. It's at 88.5. Oh, perfect. This thing was really down earlier. So it needs to pull back to $88 and hold. That's what it just did. It went underneath of it, but now it's reclaiming it, which is good. So, because this is what I drew on the chart. So it actually went down to here overnight session, and now it is back up to over 88. It's at 88.50, which is perfect. So now, potentially looking to go long on... it's not SQ anymore, it's XYZ. They changed their freaking ticker to XYZ. The most basic freaking... That's so dumb. Anyways, they should have just left it SQ. So now looking to go long, as long as it starts to hold above $88 here to take it back to the upside. So it had this downtrend line right here. It broke above it. It hit the same area of resistance right there. And now we're pulling back down, and now it's bouncing as of right now and holding above this yellow line around $88, just above it. And I want to take it back up higher, potentially to $93, $94. Paper Gain says there's no such thing as a triple top, so there could be room for it to move higher, potentially after that, maybe back up to that $100, $88 area. So there is a potential bullish setup here on XYZ. So I appreciate that, Charlie. So SPY, QQQ, IWM, BAC, JPM, Home Depot, and XYZ right here. There's a few other ones that I am watching this week as well. So we'll see how this week goes. A lot of the names I'm looking at, they're not, if you notice, I didn't cover the main ones that people are probably looking at. They're the ones that I don't really care about right now. Tesla, NVIDIA, AMD, Meta, Apple, Amazon. I don't really care for those names as of right now. I played those names to the upside. I played Amazon to new highs, and I played Apple from 219, 220 all the way up to 240. Did Google, and trying to think what else. I mean, that's trade most of them honestly, but the individual names are the ones that I'm liking right now. We have some earnings coming up as well on a few of these names. I think like you got Pinterest this week. You got there's a few other ones. PayPal. You have PayPal earnings this week. I'm probably going to trade PayPal this week as well. Got PLTR in the morning. You have PayPal on Tuesday with Spotify. That is about really the only thing that I like. The main ones people are probably going to be watching are Tuesday after the close. You have Google. You have Chipotle is my life. You have AMD and ENPH. Wednesday, you have, it's like these are the individual names that I'm looking at. You have Disney. You have Uber. You have QCOM. You have ARM. And you have MSTR. On Thursday, you have Roblox, you have Peloton, you have Honeywell, you have Under Armour, you have a few other ones. Then you have your Amazon, then you have Pinterest, then you have Elf, you have Affirm, and Friday there's none. So a lot of these individual names, these are the ones that I'm looking at this week. Some have earnings and some don't have earnings, but outside of big tech, outside of the Mag 7, that's kind of where I'm looking at lately for where I'm making my money. I'll find those days where the Mag 7, some of these names like Apple just continue to run higher while NVIDIA is just going sideways, or Amazon's having a really good up day while Google's going to the downside, whatever it is. And then QQQ and SPY just kind of chop sideways, until Trump goes on to the news and says the T word, and then all hell breaks loose, right? Trying to find names that are not going to be heavily affected by things that may come out of Trump's mouth when he's talking, because obviously when he's speaking, the market tends to get crazy moves. So kind of messes with your entire positions, your account. If you're trading SPY and Qs, especially weekly contracts, God forbid, 0 DTE contracts, and some of these Mag 7 names, and then, he says something and gets a crazy candle, just like what happened on Friday's session, right? So looking at names potentially that aren't going to move that big whenever these news headlines come out, data comes out, whatever it is. And some of these names, like Home Depot, absolutely beautiful setup on Home Depot there for this potential Head and Shoulders. So this is just one of those individual names that I'm looking at. Someone said ARM. So we took ARM calls. If you're on my Friday live stream on X, I was in ARM all day. And I'll pull up the chart. Here we go. Went from one zone to the other, and then it did a flag breakout right here, and it went straight to the daily gap fill here at 162.5, and then it fell down to the downside with everything else. So there's nothing there for ARM. We were in ARM already last week. I believe Wednesday for entry, swung into Thursday, and then swung even more going into Friday. So the ARM chart for me in technical analysis has already played out to the upside, and we cashed out on our calls. So take a look at it. Let me know what you Appreciate that, Terry. Appreciate that. No, not for me. I mean, there's potentially some oil and gas maybe I'm going to be looking at. A few other things to look at as well this week. We'll see, how the market moves, but look at your copper, look at your steel, look at your gold, see what those things are doing as well. So just there's going to be things that are going to be trending while things are chopping sideways. There's going to be things that are heavily affected where things are not being heavily affected by what's going on. So just stick to your rules and your trading plans, but take advantage wherever you see these higher quality setups. You don't have to be sitting and watching Tesla or Nvidia all day. If those names aren't really moving too much, you can scalp them here and there. But if you are seeing cleaner setups, especially on the higher time frames on some of these individual names, you can catch really good trends and moves to the upside and downside on names that you normally wouldn't be looking at. So just take advantage of it. So that's it for me, guys. Appreciate you. About 2,000 people in here. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. Again, please like and retweet the stream on X. That way people can find out later on if they could not attend it live. And that's it for me, for the Premium Discord team. I will see you guys in the morning here on the live stream in the Discord. We're ready to go. So y'all have a good night.